What's going on, guys? Venatix here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the best operators to play solo in Rainbow Six Extraction. We're going to talk about some tips, some tricks, and an overall guide for choosing operators when playing solo. Now, the game's only been out for a few days, but I've had the game actually since last Friday. So about over a week now I've had access to be playing this game because I got it early thanks to Ubisoft. But that's besides the point. I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 max rank operators. Ella, Pulse, Finka, Lion, Vigil, IQ, and Rook. And today I'm going to talk about some of my favorite to play in a solo scenario. If you're looking for those who look in a teamwork scenario, I will be making another video on that, but for this time being, it's for solo play. As you can see, progression-wise, I am already on milestone 25 with 101% total game completion. And you can see that I have 100% in New York City, 100% in San Francisco, and 100% in Alaska, with 11% on Truth or Consequences. To be fair, I literally just started playing New Mexico yesterday. But regardless, Maelstrom Protocol, the very first time I ever played it, we placed into gold, which I'm not that all impressed with. I actually want to get higher, but that's beside the point because today we're going to be talking about operators. Now, I think one of the best solo operators to play is Ella, and Ella was actually one of my last two max level 10 at the moment because I don't know, I didn't realize how strong she was until I accidentally chose her and played a mission and then realized she's one of my favorite characters in the entire game, and here's why. But first off, let's look at her advancement. She throws sticky mines. We could throw a preview right here if you didn't already know. You hold on to it, you throw them, and they go off of movement, or if it senses a nearby enemy in close proximity, obviously there'll be a radius where it throws, and it stuns them. So the stun actually lasts pretty long already at level 1, but just at level 2 Ella, the stun duration is increased to a total of 10 seconds, and this stuns all enemy types, Apex, Protean, Smashers, etc., you name it. But operators aren't necessarily the best just purely off their ability. I think they're also best based off of weapons. So take a look at what weapons she can actually spawn with. So the Scorpion Evo, not terrible. Shotguns, I think shotguns are terrible in this game. I don't think they're great unless they have some hidden feature with the knockback, which they might, but I try to avoid shotguns at all costs. And then this M762. But let me tell you right now that the LMGE is by far one of the best guns in the game that you can have. Now, I believe Ella might be the only one who can have it, or there might be someone else. I'm not 100% sure about that one, but this gun is amazing. 41 damage with a fire rate of 720 and a magazine capacity of 150. Basically, you can clear a whole freaking subzone before you have to reload if you're just hitting people in their weak spot. Insane. It's absolutely insane how much you can shoot, and the reload isn't terrible. And then again, if you're ever in a bind, don't worry, just throw your explosive mine that stuns people down at your feet, and then you're safe for 10 seconds, which is going to give you plenty of time to reload and then kill all your people. But besides the primary, her secondary weapon is one of the only pistols, now I know there's a few others, but basically one of the only few pistols that actually has a sight on it, let alone a silencer with a sight. So keep that in mind too. There are some revolvers with a scope, but they don't have a silencer option. This has a silencer and a red dot sight, making the precision headshot kills super easy. Very easy to pull off. So what I like to do is go loud on my primary and quiet on my secondary. And for those veterans who've been playing or know the game a whole lot now, kind of realize that even if you do go loud without a silencer, you're really only going to be alerting the enemies in the nearby area, but they're not necessarily going to be howling unless they actually see you. Now, moving on to one of my other solos that I think is very good is Vigil, which I think everybody already knows about. Vigil is great, and he gets good weapons as well. I think the K1A is totally fine, does a good damage with a really high fire rate, but then you get with the MK14 EBR, which is hitting for 60. It hits like a truck. Definitely one of my favorites. Yes, it's semi-automatic, and you only have a magazine size of 20, but let me tell you right now, you are killing everything in that magazine, unless you're missing some of your shots or you're not hitting weak spots. Then you might have to reload and shoot one more time. You know what I'm saying? Very strong. And of course, if you didn't know, Vigil turns himself invisible and can just walk around and assassinate people. But eventually he'll be able to do it for his teammates and increase his movement speed. So again, for solo play, invisibility is clutch, and then for playing with your teammates, being able to turn yourself and your teammates invisible is also extremely clutch. Now, I've had many opportunities playing as Vigil solo where sometimes you just get stuck or caught out and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, guess what? Literally turn yourself invisible and away you go. problem solved. Now he also has a built-in silencer with his SMG, which has a ridiculous fire rate of 1270, and the spray pattern is crazy. I mean, this thing has a major kick, so I definitely recommend just tap firing with this, unless of course you're in a bind where you're just going to hold the trigger down, in which case I recommend just pulling that mouse down immediately or pulling that joystick down immediately, because the kick is absolutely insane with Vigil. Now next on the list I have Lion. Lion is one of my first operators to ever level up was Lion, and one of the main reasons was the fact that he had a Vector, the V308. Vectors are one of my favorite guns in a lot of other games, but then also in real life I love him so much. But then he has this HK which does 69 damage. Not only is it 69 because hilarious, but then 69 crap ton of damage, tons of damage, and the recoil pattern is minimal. It just does so much damage. But let's talk about what Lion actually does. He has a drone. If you've ever played Rainbow Six Siege and you know all about it, he just activates it and sees everything around him in a short radius. But of course, if you level yourself up to even more, the cooldown is reduced drastically to 40 seconds, and then detected enemies stay scanned. Amazing. And I use him all the time for throwing smokes in different areas or defending areas where line of sight is actually really hard to see, or if I don't feel like wanting to do a drone mission or having to drone all the time, I can just whip out this guy right here, my E1D drone, so slightly different, the ability drone, and be able to see different things. Now of course I think he's really strong purely because of his arsenal update, if you ask me, because of the weapons that he gets, but then he also gets a good amount of armor and movement speed, as most operators do. Now, this is one of the last ones I want to recommend when it comes to solo play, and that is Finka. I didn't really like Finka solo at first. I thought, oh yeah, she's a good team player, she boosts, the team, and blah 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 blah, really cool, didn't think much about it. But then I realized it's almost even better for solo play, because you can pop that ability at any time and you don't have to worry about anybody but yourself. So you know exactly when you need to use it and how to keep yourself safe. And I think that's where it gets really strong. Now she also has this built-in passive here where it says when she kills while down, replenish 5 down health, she will be able to self-revive. So she can self-revive herself in terrible situations. And then she also gets this massive LMG with a capacity of 100, with like very little kick. In my opinion, the recoil is not bad at all when it comes to Finka. But she does have some other ones. Her Spear 308 isn't bad, and then I haven't actually used this because I looked at it and then compared it, and I said, why would I use this over this? I don't know. I'm sure there's reasons, but I don't see it, and I just like the LMGs in this game. The LMGs are phenomenal. Sometimes you just gotta spray and pray. A lot of times you won't, but you just never know when you do. But yeah, going back to her boost, getting that 4 health boost and getting the reload speed and all that stuff, the toggle, the aim down the sights, it's just features you don't want to give up when playing solo. Having a hard time, play Finka. Hard time, Ella. Freaking Vigil, Lion, etc. Those guys are really good at solo play. Now I will recommend playing Doc. My only grief I have with him is that he's considered pretty slow. Now he's only 2 speed versus Tachanka is 1 speed, so obviously he isn't the slowest. Same with Gridlock, she's one of the slowest characters in the game. But the nice thing about Doc is he will have the option to unlock the HK, which, as we all know, does a crap ton of damage, but I do like the feel of the MP5, which is what I'm using currently instead of the MP9. As you can see, MP5 does do more damage, but the P90 has a faster fire rate and a slightly larger magazine size. So, I mean, really, you can switch between the two, but obviously you play Doc because you're expecting to take damage, or you think you're going to take a lot of damage, so you can just continuously stim boost yourself when playing solo and never have to worry about losing HP, which obviously losing HP in this game is kind of annoying. And then last on the list, which I'm kind of up in the air about this one, is Sledge. I think Sledge is very strong. However, I think he only gets really strong once you get down to level 7 and then level 10. His tactical hammer is really cool, but he can only stun very basic enemies, and destroying walls is nice to be able to create your own new path, but a lot of times you just don't end up using it for that. But as you get into level 7 of him and level 10, you're going to be able to swing and stun people as tormentors and smashers, which then allows you to pretty much play solo, and every time you get into a bind with a smasher or tormentor, all you got to do is hit him with your charged hammer attack, and boom, they're stunned, and you can assassinate them, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And of course, if you need to run away, you can always use your hammer to destroy the wall and get a quick escape. So I think that's where Sledge is pretty useful. Weapon wise with him, I haven't actually, as you can see, I haven't even bothered unlocking them because 2 of my friends have already maxed him, so they usually play him the most already. I just haven't had the opportunity to really level him up, but I do think he deserves to be there as a solo operator. for those that are asking. But if I were to pick here, I can't tell the difference between damage of silence, non-silence, since I don't have them unlocked. But I would probably take the, you know, that's actually a tough choice here. Looks like I really almost, these are about the same. I would probably take the one that does more damage in a slightly magazine size, honestly. So that's what I would pick, was right here, the LA5A2. Now, this is my best operators to play solo. I play a lot of solo on my channel, as well as with duos and trios, and then with randoms all the time. Make sure to join my live streams. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below, what you use the most to play solo, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.